Okay, this is part 2 of Eros and Spice, or extending the honeymoon. I've said some preliminary things to sort of remind us of material that's been covered before, and of course you can always watch these videos over again. You can also get the book, which unfortunately I can't put all of that that's of the nature of erotica on the internet, or I won't. I suppose I could, but I won't, because I don't want to make it freely available to people who are maybe immature. But in any event, here we are, and we have a couple in the making, someone stating they're trying to get serious about each other. And generally we have men and women, and I don't know about how this works for people in transgender or gay relationships and all the rest of that. I don't have any experience. I would guess that there's similarities between the things I'm going to say in general about men and women. I'm not going to make any judgments about that because it's, I don't know. Clearly, everybody's a human being, and so I try to talk about our human nature things. Now, there is some, what you might call, old wisdom. And I don't mean old in the sense of tired, but I mean worth paying attention to. And I got this from an encounter with a Native American shaman. And it was a discussion which I'm not going to say is universal among Native Americans. I have no idea. But the ideas were helpful to me. And she talked about a couple of different things. One was the idea that might be called dominion and surrender. And the other is about the male nature and the female nature, and that dynamic and a kind of force that she called the hunger. Okay? Now, the way she expressed it was that the tradition was that in a Native American relationship, and I don't know how true this is, but let's just consider this as a theory. All right? One could have a theoretical dynamic in a partnership relationship where one person is more assertive and the other person more receptive. And we understand that in terms of male and female in general. We understand that the woman is by nature organized in such a way that she has a tendency to be more receptive. And the man is organized in such a way that he has a tendency to be more aggressive. And in fact, when we get into the energy centers, which we'll do later, we'll discuss, where these things come from. But very obviously, a man gets an erection and he penetrates a woman. Now that's aggression and receptiveness right there, and the seed is planted. And from that, a new body grows into which a spirit can inhabit for their purposes in their biography. And that's the way children come about. Now, right now I'm just talking about what you might call dominion and surrender and the hunger, okay? And trying to get us to think about these things. Let's take another look at dominion and surrender. Theoretically, the woman in a committed relationship can give to the man dominion over her physical organism. That is, he is free to express his hunger, his desire, when he wants to. And there's a lot in the romantic literature and all kinds of places one can talk about it, and all kinds of problems that happen. And they certainly begin to happen when couples are getting to know each other, but the man has drivers in him. He has energy centers that that make him want to touch and to reach out and to engage and to kiss and to stroke and to do all these things. Okay, now in the idea of dominion and surrender, the theory of it is that the woman finds her deepest pleasure in response. Not in meeting his aggression with her aggression. And again, we're generalizing here, you know. You can have relationships where the roles on that level are totally reversed. The woman is aggressive and the man is submissive, we could say. And of course, in a relationship, those things can switch. You can have an emotional situation where the man understands that what he wants at that point is to be the passive person. And if he can understand that that's where he is, and if his partner can understand that that comes to him sometimes, and if he can say, you know, today I want to be the passive person and I want you to make love to me. Okay? So the general tendency in terms of some of the forces, we might say, by which we are moved toward each other involves this hunger on the part of the man to have the woman. And of course, if the man has been raised in a disturbed cultural situation, which pretty much is typical all over the world, in other words, you could say that that in terms of the erotic and sensual life of ordinary human beings, the understanding of Eros, this understanding that led the old priests in the ancient mysteries to have temple prostitutes, and for that to be divine in its nature. You know, we call them prostitutes. That would be wrong. You know, there are other ideas out there. You know, there's a woman named Kate Elliott who wrote some books about spiritual things recently, in which the what we would call the prostitutes is actually a religious organization in which a certain understanding exists that raises up the activity of being a partner to someone that doesn't have a regular partner. That is, you know, what we shove over into prostitution culturally in her books is not prostitution, but instead a calling where kind of priests and priesthood exist to provide love in the sense of the erotic and the sensual to those people in this society who don't have access to it because they don't have a partner. In our culture, we do kind of weird thing with it. We create the dating scene, we create hooking up, we create one-night stands, we create all kinds of stuff, and not all of that is healthy. Okay? In fact, that's one of the reasons why we talk about the, shall we say, the four-body structure during this set of lectures, is because of the health problems. And these are not just physical health problems, although there are physical health problems that can happen, but these are more psychological health problems, and in the sense that they're psychological health problems, they can produce ill effects in the physical body. Time to pause.